Morning are Jonas Roser and Aaron Cassover. Jonas is the president of Roser Resources. It's a full-service marketing and communications agency. Jonas has had an award-winning career as a marketer and visionary, I would say. He's the guy behind the 3 and 4 Association, the nationally recognized nonprofit that focuses on raising awareness regarding long-term care planning. He's put their national bus campaigns together, print ads here, there, and everywhere, billboards in Times Square. Also widely known through the long-term care industry for his marketing and branding campaigns for long-term care financial partners. He served as the chief marketing officer for them from their founding year in 2003 until 2012. Also with us, as I said, Aaron Cassover. Aaron has spent time working with thousands of insurance agents, helping them use the internet to grow their business. He began his online marketing career in the late 90s with Leo Burnett, which is a huge advertising firm. He helped corporations such as United Airlines, General Motors, Hallmark, and others develop initial web strategies at a time when that was crucial. He took off on his own in '98, became key for organizations such as Allstate, Humana Combined Insurance within the insurance space, and he's been a driving force in online marketing campaigns and lead generation first for those large entities, and now he's transitioned out and he has made a career in working with independent agents such as the folks who work with us. His focus is building the simplest but yet most powerful online marketing tools, part of which we will talk about here this morning. So with that, I'll go ahead and kick it over to Jonas just real briefly, and then Aaron will take off. So Jonas, go ahead.
Hello?
Hello.
Hi, actually, I thought Aaron was going to.
Oh, all right, well then we'll give it to Aaron then. Sorry about that mix up on my part. Aaron, spotlight's on you.
Today.
Take it away.
I get to go first today. This is
you
Aaron.
go first today. All right.
And just a microphone check, make sure I'm coming in loud and clear.
I think we have good volume, so very good.
Okay. And you can see my screen as well?
Yes.
Okay. I'm learning to make sure these things are working before I dive in. So thank you all for joining today. LinkedIn is a phenomenal resource, and we're all really lucky to have it because it's relatively new. It completely changes the game in business-to-business sales and worksite sales. This is a tool that we have access to really at no or very low cost that gives us so much data and the ability to contact people that we could never get to before. I am constantly amazed by what I'm able to achieve through LinkedIn that just was not possible before it was available. And so pay attention today. We're going to give you some strategies you can use to generate worksite leads, but I really encourage you to dive in deep with LinkedIn, to go in and learn everything you can about it, to use it very actively in your sales process, because like I said, this is a tool like we've never had before for sales. It's amazing. So before we really get into the worksite strategies, let's talk a bit about who uses LinkedIn. And the short answer is pretty much not everybody. But you can look at active LinkedIn users in 4 categories. The first is salespeople, people who are looking to find and research leads, and especially enterprise sales and business-to-business salespeople. The second are independent professionals. You think about your small law firm attorneys, your CPAs, your realtors, your insurance agents, who are looking to extend their network to go out and make contact with more people than they can just offline. The third are job seekers. If somebody's looking for a job, LinkedIn is a great place for them to network, to share their experience, to share their recommendations. And they do have a pretty good job board on LinkedIn, so they can actually go and find a job directly through LinkedIn. And the fourth are HR managers and owners. These are people who are looking to expand their network and hire employees. And just sort of a cool side note on this, the age of asking for referrals when you are, or references when you're hiring somebody is pretty much dead. Because if you're looking to hire somebody now, you can go into LinkedIn and you can probably find somebody you know that knows this person, especially if they're in this industry. And so you can go get your own references on somebody. And so LinkedIn for hiring is a really, really important tool. Now, as far as we're concerned, there's really only two groups here that matter. Salespeople, while we ourselves are salespeople, their agenda is really not necessarily in line with ours, especially if they're enterprise sales or B2B sales. They might be selling software or copiers or other things that the way they use LinkedIn is not really going to make a good initial connection for us. And so I would say not really focusing on them is probably a good idea. Independent professionals, these are people who are very much in line with what we're doing. And so extending your relationship with these professionals can create great referral sources. You can share information. You can collaborate together to work with prospects and clients. And so that's a great place to develop relationships on LinkedIn. Job seekers, obviously, unless you're looking to hire, not really a relevant market for us. And the last one, HR managers and business owners. This is the gold mine. This is where we really want to go. We want to find these people because they're the ones who are sort of the keys to worksite sales, keys to the kingdom there. So we've got 4 strategies on how to reach these people. Direct contact, join targeted groups, sponsored updates, and then we call it rubbing shoulders. But before we dive in, there are some things that you have to do in order to use LinkedIn. So before you can do these things, you have a few prerequisites you have to meet. And so let's go through what these are. And the first one, and I'm actually serious about this. This book, How to Win Friends and Influence People, if you've read it, go reread it. If you haven't read it, go to Amazon and buy a copy. It's a classic. It's common sense, but it's these important skills. Now, we've had our entire lives to master our social skills offline. You know, we've gone through school. We've tried out different ways to interact with people. We've succeeded and we've failed. And we've really fine-tuned our interaction skills offline our entire lives. But online, we're all basically still like kindergartners. We have a few years' experience with this. We're still trying things out and sometimes falling on our face a little bit. It's kind of funny to think about my 15-year-old niece. She's 15, and she has as much, if not more, experience with social networks than most of us do. And so we're still really new at this. And so we have to go back to the basics. We have to go and relearn and just kind of remind ourselves how social relationships work and how communication works. With social media, it's really tempting to make it all about you, to talk about what you're doing, to post pictures of yourself, to share yourself. But we have to remember that people want to hear about them. And I think that number 3 here, remember that a person's name is, to that person, the sweetest and most important sound in your language. We have to remember that with social networks, where we want to make it about the people we're interacting with. We want to comment on their things. We want to share their things, engage with them in the way they want to be engaged in. And so go and reread this book. It's a quick read. It's kind of cliche, but it's something that we need to kind of get back in our minds. The second is you need a crystal clear understanding of who you're targeting, because there's hundreds of millions of people on LinkedIn. You can't go for them all. And you have to really narrow down your market, your audience. And so think about the products that you offer and who they're best suited for. Are they very premium products for part of high-quality compensation packages? Are they more cost-effective, low-cost products that can help an employer reduce their expenses? And what kind of businesses would want to offer those products to their employees? Think about your existing customer base. What do they look like? And that's a good idea to look for people similar to them. Think about your geographic region. Where can you sell? And be very specific about that. Think about the industries that are appropriate for what you're offering, and the size of company that is really your sweet spot. How many employees can you handle? We all want to go for the big groups, but what's a realistic one that you're going to be able to show, demonstrate a track record of being able to deliver a good result for? And having this crystal clear understanding of your market will be really critical for you being able to focus your time on LinkedIn to really getting to the right people. The third prerequisite is, of course, you have to have a LinkedIn account. Now, you have to have a LinkedIn account that also looks great. And so we have a free guide you can get. It's on yaim.com on the homepage that will walk you through the steps of making your LinkedIn profile really good. But I'm going to pass this over to Jonas now, and he's going to talk a bit more about ways you can optimize your profile to really help you interact and develop relationships on LinkedIn. Jonas?
Good morning, everyone. Mic check. You got me, Aaron?
Yes.
Yeah, very
Okay,
good.
great. Well, welcome, and exactly what Aaron said. What I'm going to do is give you some insight on how to really optimize your profile. Think about this as not only a resume, but a deep history of what you've done and where you've been that anyone on LinkedIn can access 24/7. Before you connect with others, you really have to have your profile page set up, and the more that is optimized with the goal of being optimized close to 100%, the better that other people are going to be able to find you, and the better they'll understand you. When you're optimizing your page, you won't only want to detail your work history. You also want to reflect some of your personal interests and passions. It gives you the ability to directly go underneath, your history of what you've done and give people a deep insight, and they're able to read it at their leisure. So when you're defining yourself, think of a couple, headline words of exactly what you do. If you specialize in long-term care insurance, if you specialize in annuities, if you specialize in hybrid, think of some keywords that really define what you are, long-term care insurance specialist, and you want to make sure that you're listing those up near the top of your profile. If you'll see on mine, I list that I'm the president of my company and a few other areas which I specialize in. But for yourselves, when you're selling product, you also want to pinpoint that right there. Then it's simple because it enables someone else when they're searching for you to search when they're searching keywords. It's also going to help pull yours up quicker and faster. But at the same time, you might want to utilize some longer terminology there. If you happen to be specializing in the worksite, then you might want to say long-term care insurance specializing in educational programs in the worksite, or partnering with attorneys and insurance and financial professionals to outreach and educate. So you definitely want to make sure you put some alerts out there. And at the same time, when you're doing that, you also want to possibly showcase some of your past experiences. When doing this, you definitely want to use verbs as much as possible. This way you're able to be passionate about it and show what you've learned. There's a vice president of business and technology at a company called Crosstech. His name is Chris Brogan, and he's a frequent blogger on the topic of social networks, and he suggests listing non-jobs you've done. So something like chairing a conference or leading a panel. You just shouldn't think of this as a resume tool. It can give you a lot of color and breadth to more about what you're able to offer. So if you're thinking about some more things when you're optimizing your profile, kind of a checklist, so to say, you definitely want, number one, is to have a solid headline. So once again, focusing on exactly what you want to do, because that's how people are going to find you. Something that's relevant to your industry, or relevant at least at that time of what you want to connect with people to showcase what your value proposition is. And then second of all, you want to have a picture. And when I mean have a picture, I mean have a professional picture. You're working in the worksite now. So this shouldn't be a picture with your football jersey on or one from a past function, possibly holding a cocktail or something like that. A nice business picture. It's worth the time. Most people, you can take it to have it done. You have the right lighting on your phone, or even just go have a professional portrait done. Most malls have some kind of photo place in them, because this is your first impression from a visual standpoint to the people you're looking to partner with. Also, once again, let them know how you want to be contacted. At the bottom of your profile, you can let people know how you want to be contacted. And what I mean is, call me by phone, send me an email, or you can actually use LinkedIn as a connecting vehicle, almost in email fashion as well, because that way it's most likely you're going to have a better and more positive reception with the people you're doing business with. Now, here's what you want to make sure that you don't include. Any contact information that you don't want people to have, obviously you don't want to put it on your contact page. Also, you want to be as razor sharp with the truth, because you just don't want to extend it too much. If you worked on group cases of 10,000, don't put 20,000. If you've been in the industry 4 years, say 4 years, because at the end of the day, there's a lot of transparency now with social media and the internet that it lives on, and it's just not worth blending the truth all there. And also, don't put anything you don't want your current, former, future anyone else to know because it's going to stay there. And just because you may have changed it doesn't mean that someone may have not captured a screenshot of it or something along the lines that they can showcase and pull it up in the future. So almost think of it as like a digital fingerprint. Aaron, can we get to the next slide, please? So when I talk about your front page, you're also able to continue building out your profile. You want to make sure that you're very specific in items that you've done. If you're able to you're able to read some of the things I've done here. I've actually just commented or put commas after a series of activities that I feel that I have a specialty in, that I can bring value to a company in, and then a career statement on what I'm able to do if I was working with them. Short, sweet, to the point. One of the reasons that there's so many words there and not a very descriptive paragraph necessarily is because people could be searching public relations skills. They can be searching for media planning and buying, interactive marketing. And because I've listed those in that fashion, it's going to help showcase that I have those skills as well as help bring my profile up. Next slide. So recommendations. As you heard about Aaron speak earlier, that no longer is there really the old school fashion of calling and asking someone for a letter of recommendation. You're able to ask for them a letter of recommendation on LinkedIn. And the beautiful thing about it is they don't get wrinkled, they're not somewhere else, they're not in a file they're keeping, they're digital, they're in the cloud, and everyone else can see them if they're connected to you. And the great thing about the recommendation feature on LinkedIn is you're able to be recommended for different projects or companies you've worked at. So people can see this is a recommendation. For instance, I have John Wayne at the top of mine here, president of AIM, and he's recommended me for what I've done with my company. And if you were to go further down, as you can't see in the screenshot, you would see recommendations from previous companies or projects I've worked on. So when you send your recommendation out, you're able to select what they're recommending you under. Once again, it's critical because this showcases what other people think of you and the service that you provide them, and it's just really, really key. And they're great things that you can use on your own website as well. If you get recommendations, once again, from working in the Worksite, an HR manager recommendation, great thing to take a quote from. It becomes part of a graphic on your website, utilizing in other marketing. So you definitely want to ask for recommendations. It doesn't hurt, and you don't have to pick up the phone to do it. So you don't need to smile and dial. You just need to click. Next slide, Aaron. So looking to find where you want to go on LinkedIn as kind of your advanced search is a really cool feature. As Aaron said earlier, there's just millions and millions and millions of businesses and the people that you like to connect with on there. And so with the Master Advanced Search, you're actually able to specify the location of the company, the industry that they're in, and then you can start narrowing it down even more to the size of the company, the function of the person you want to contact there. And so this way, if you said you wanted to decide to start working with doctors and your goal was to start doing executive carve-outs with doctors, you could hypothetically go in there and start looking for doctors in your city, reach out to them, let them know you provided outreach and education on a certain product, and that there's a, depending on the product, it could be something they could pay with employer dollars and so on and so forth. It's a great way to get in front of people, and you're not buying your list. Yes, there's a monthly membership fee, or even if you pay it annually with LinkedIn, but it's not like you're going out and buying a list that you're relying on someone else to scrub to make sure it's accurate, because every company that posts their own LinkedIn profile, or the people that do it, it's their profile, so they're going to make sure. Most of them are very due diligent to make sure it's up to date and accurate. Next slide, please, Aaron. So the direct contact strategy, number one, is, you want to get started, you try and think, how can I do this? Where do I begin? A great way is just ask for some help. Find someone out there that's, at the company that you want to get involved with, or in the industry you want to get involved with, And people on LinkedIn generally are pretty nice people from what I've found. They want to help people because that's part of what the social network's about. So you find something in common, connect to them, make it personal, and remember, you don't want to sell on LinkedIn. It's one thing to post something here and there about possibly something you found value in, but the idea is to share and to solve problems and become a trusted source, a trusted resource or trusted advisor within the area that you're in. That way people start coming to you. Then they start spreading your name. They start spreading you as a valued resource. And I will tell you, here's a few tips that I've always found great for meeting professionals on LinkedIn. And some of these you can actually use on other social networks as well, but follow your clients. I'm sure that if you're not on LinkedIn, there's probably a number of people on the phone that are on Facebook or another kind of social media. But have you ever thought about plugging your clients, people from your book of business? I mean, I don't know how big your book is, but maybe you say, I'm going to start with the people that I sold last month and start looking for them out there, connecting to them. If they don't want to connect to you, they're not going to do it. But if they do, you're one step closer to utilizing them as a referral source for you, and you're not having to ask them eyeball to eyeball. And believe me, if they connected to you, first if they purchased from you and then they connected to you, they're probably going to help, showcase what you can bring to their friends and neighbors. Look for someone needing help online. When you help them, it's going to go a long ways, and they're going to remember what you did. They can maybe then refer you to someone else, or you can get strategic and look for someone that's, asking a question within the sphere of influence that you understand the most. You provide a very crisp, clean answer and let them know, you're there to help them on the next one, not just shooting it off like a professional. Once again, it's going to go a long way. Also, you want to develop content and put it out there continuously. When I say develop, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go write a bunch of stuff yourself, but find relevant articles, relevant topics that are happening within the lines or channels of business that you sell, and post them out there. Once again, positioning yourself as the specialist, as the expert on LinkedIn in the areas that you represent. Always make yourself available to customers on social media channels, and put your social media contact information on your business cards. A lot of people forget to do that. It doesn't mean that you necessarily have to make, add your LinkedIn address or whatnot, but you can at least showcase by putting the little LinkedIn icon. I've seen many times that people put icons on the social media platforms that they're on the back of their card. They may want to keep a more professional image on the front, or they like the way it looks, but by showcasing it's there, it showcases that you're there. And you can always say, connect to me at, and then you can have the little icons there to keep it very clean and professional. Make sure your content's shareable as well. And once again, you want to share. You don't want to sell. It just goes a long ways. And what I'm talking about is your content. Obviously, there's product you want to sell, but your content you don't want to sell. Aaron, there we go. Let's see here. So strategy number 2, targeted groups. So targeted groups is another great resource because you're actually able to go up in the search bar in LinkedIn and you could put various different groups or industries that you're looking to find. And then what you find there is groups. People go out and they'll form a group of interest. So hypothetically, well, not hypothetically, let's say if you typed in long-term care insurance, you're going to find a number of groups listed there. But within that, you're going to find that there's thousands of people in those groups. And so you can find valuable content in there, but you can also position yourself there as an expert. So you want to join some targeted groups. My groups span from industries that I'm in and then also things that help grow my skill set. So there's marketing groups that I belong to, but then as well many different insurance groups and forums and stuff along those lines. But once again, you could go in there and you could target, HR benefit advisor, talking about going to the Worksite. You'll see right there, there's a handful of mine there. Benefit Selling, it's a magazine that's out there that showcases products on the Worksite. Join their groups. You can hear what's happening there. But the great thing is when you click on the profile of each group, you'll see what's there. And some of these groups have 70,000, 100,000, 30,000. So people in there. And remember, it's getting you that much closer to showcasing what you have to offer and get you into the worksite. Next slide, please. Strategy 3. So you want to make sure that you share your resource and to make sure that it's relevant to your market. Your sponsored updates, you want to make sure that you're putting something there that they're finding of value. And you create a LinkedIn update by linking to that update. Once again, having a number of different strategies is key when going into a new market, or into a new platform such as this, because all of them may work or one of them may work, and so you want to make sure that you're not putting all your eggs into one basket. And my computer just froze for some reason. Aaron, is the screen frozen? What's happening here?
Jonas.
Yeah.
So why don't I go ahead and pick up from strategy 3?
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay. So Jonas talked about sponsored updates a little bit. This is a unique opportunity on LinkedIn where you are able to put updates onto your page, onto your status, and those updates are seen by people who you're connected with. There's an additional way to get these out to a wider audience, because obviously you want to go beyond people you already know, go beyond existing customers. And so sponsored updates allow you to essentially pay to have your updates shared to a wider audience. And so you can say exactly who you want to see it. You can target industries, you can target roles, you can target company size, geographic location, and really anything else you want to narrow down. And then make a bid, usually it's a couple bucks, $2 to $3, to have your update shown to those people. Now, when you have a really good update, maybe you have a resource you're sharing or a landing page you've created or a download that you're offering, you might want to go beyond your existing network and spread this out to your wider prospect market. Sponsored updates are a great way to do that. Or using them at AIM, and so this is a screenshot of an example of one of the updates that we have sponsored, where you can see that we shared this to our market. People who see us on LinkedIn already, and we had 745 people see it. That's okay. But then we did a sponsored update, and we were able to increase that from 745 to 23,000. Almost 24,000 people saw our update. Brought in over 100 clicks at a couple dollars each. It was a really cost-effective way for us to go out and expand our reach. And so sponsored updates are this really unique opportunity on LinkedIn that's a very effective way for you to go and touch your prospects and generate new leads. The fourth strategy is what we call rubbing shoulders. We know this is offline, but there's a way to rub shoulders online that is a little bit of a trick, but it's actually really effective. Now, as you go and you're interacting on LinkedIn, you're going to visit people's pages. And I encourage you to do this, to go look at people's pages, look at prospects, look at people who are maybe employees at companies you're targeting, and just go out and just learn about people. Now, when you visit somebody's page, they're able to see that you looked at their page. They can see that you looked at their page, and as you can see here, a screenshot, this is who's viewed my profile in the last couple days. And generally, if I see that somebody's looked at my profile, if I don't know them, I'm curious about who they are. And so I'll go back and look at their page. And so sure, they look at me, I look at them, I learn about them. And so you as the agent will see they've come back to your page. And so watch who's viewed your page. And as soon as somebody's viewed your page, you know they now know who you are, they've seen your picture, they've read your profile, and you establish contact. So you apply this sort of rubbing shoulders, just like you would at a cocktail party. You bump into somebody and you say, oh, how do you know Fred? This is the same way to do that online, where once they come back and look at your page, establish contact, use the direct contact strategies Jonas talked about, and now you can network with them, and you can begin to develop relationships by maybe even asking to connect in person, stop by their office, meet for coffee, just to get to know them a little bit better. And so this strategy is a great way to just go out, develop new relationships just as you travel across LinkedIn. So an action plan. Let's put all of this into place. First is meet these prerequisites, read the How to Win Friends book, understand your market, craft a great profile, use the tips that Jonas gave us, go and get our LinkedIn Agent's Guide to LinkedIn from the whyaim.com homepage, and then master advanced search. And then put these 4 strategies into place. Develop a direct contact strategy, set a goal. Maybe it's a number of contacts per week. Maybe you want to reach out to 10 contacts a week. What would that do for your business? And so then create a pre-written, customizable intro you can send out to people to reach out and make these direct contacts. Number 3 is join and participate in groups. Make this a part of your daily habit, maybe while you're having your morning coffee, to log into LinkedIn and look at what's going on in your groups, comment, discuss, be involved. Number 4 is when you have really good calls to action, create sponsored updates. Now, I'd make a quick sort of self-serving plug here. The Connected Agent program, where we give you websites, can help because we're creating campaigns that you can share on LinkedIn. So if you don't have a website, or if you don't have a good website with calls to action, give us a call. We'll make sure you do. And then the 5th is to rub shoulders with as many people as you can. Go out there, get on LinkedIn, be active, participate, look at people's profiles, read about people, learn about people, and then watch them come back to you and make that direct contact once they do. So with that, that's what Jonas and I have to share today. Let's see if there are any questions about LinkedIn. Feel free to, I think we have everybody muted, so type them into the question.
Right now,
okay.
Aaron. So please be respectful of that, folks. If you have not enabled audio controls by hitting the little password there that is shown on your control panel, we won't be able to unmute you. That's Ms. Royster, Richard Yost, and some others out there. Penny, all of you need to enable the audio controls for me to be able to unmute you to answer questions. And I'll knock them out here as quickly as I can. All right. Steelman, Kennedy, Smith, Elliott, Pert all need to go ahead and enable the audio controls. Everybody else should be good to go. So questions, go ahead and fire away. One question right off the bat, Dale, from Aaron or Jonas. How do you create groups by states?
Jonas, you want to handle that?
Yeah, I don't believe it's actually, you might need to jump in and help me on this one. When I created a group, I created it around a topic. And so what you're able to do is you can highlight that in there, that hypothetically a long-term care specialist group for Oregon State. Are there additional profiles for that, Aaron? I've only created a few national groups, so targeting in that area, I'm not quite sure. It's just come from listing it in that fashion.
I don't think you can create groups by state, but what you can do, I pulled back up the strategy too, because the screenshot here shows a search for groups in Seattle. And so you can see, for example, this Seattle Accounting and Finance Professionals group. And so just by naming the group Seattle Accounting and Finance Professionals, they're able to target a geographic region. So I think as long as you make it clear that you're intending on it being state-specific, anybody can join, but it will still be most relevant to those that you're targeting that way.
And when you put it in, as Aaron said, making it part of the title, that's how people are going to search for it in the group section. So they, would be something along the headlining of the type of business that you're looking for, the type of group you're creating, and then listing that state. And since LinkedIn is just one big database, it pulls that profile piece, and that's why it will help pull that up.
Great. All right. Thanks, guys. Any other questions out there? Again, we've got some folks who didn't enable the audio controls, so we're not able to do anything with that. But anybody else out there with questions, go ahead and fire away. If you would like a copy of the PowerPoint presentation, if you'll email me, mike.anderson@whyaim.com, WHYAIM.com. you can shoot me a note, and I'll get it over to you here later today. As we said before, this is being recorded. It will be posted on the YAIM website probably by noon today, so you can circle back if you want to go over any of the stuff that these fine gentlemen covered. And
Mike, I wanted to say real quick, Aaron talked about one book you want to read, jumping into this space. There's another book that I really, really recommend. I think it's like $7 or $10. It's called The Power Formula for LinkedIn Success. It's so great because it's really, really user-friendly. So if you really want to jump into LinkedIn, it's like the clip notes for it. And what makes it so great as well is they actually have screenshots and then arrows pointing to what they're talking about. So it's not just copy on a page and you're trying to understand it. It's actually showing you pictures of what you would see on your screen. So it's almost a step-by-step. And it's really, it's a great thing. You want to get that read. It will really help you make some lasting business connections. It also helps you build a really unique personal brand. There's ideas and stuff in it. And it's a really easy read. And it's probably one of the easiest books to understand LinkedIn that I've read because of the screenshots.
Great. Great idea. Thanks, Jonas. All right, any other questions before we wrap this up here this morning? Again, I want to thank Jonas and Aaron for making their time available. Their expertise in this area has been invaluable to us, and we're really happy to be able to extend it out to you folks to try to make the most of this great opportunity.
Great. Well, thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay. Hey, Jonas, what's the name of that book again?
It's called The Power Formula for LinkedIn Success. The name of the author, his first name is Wayne. For some reason, I always remember that. But you can buy it on Amazon or, obviously go to a bookstore. I'm telling you, you want to get it, and you'll keep referencing back to it, too. And it's a really quick read.
Great. All right. Thanks for that. We're going to go ahead and shut everything down. Thanks, folks. Appreciate your time, and we'll look to talk to you again soon. Bye now, everybody.